Good afternoon and welcome to WRMN 1410. Welcome to a special session of Out to Lunch. Today, we have two guests in the studio, two lovely guests. We've got Jena Hencin from the City of Elgin Homeless Response Coordinator. Say hi to everybody, Jena.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Glad you're with us. And then we have Greg Schiller, Greg Schiller is not only the pantry manager, but he's also city liaison for the Lexington Hotel.
Hey, everybody.
So, yeah, welcome, Greg. How you been? Been a while since we've been on the air together.
I'm hanging in there.
Man, that's the way to go. But we've had a lot of things going on, a lot of things happening, a lot of, forward motion, right?
Oh, yeah.
I guess is what I would like to say. A lot of forward motion. And things are picking up. Things are going very well.
Yes.
Got a lot of things happening over there. And you really don't want to talk with me directly. We're going to get and talk, I think, just with Jena first. I want to hear what's happening as far as progress and how are you feeling about the program? I know that you've been, from my going there, because I make several visits. I've seen Greg on numerous occasions. And I know that the people, when you say Jena, they sure know who you are. So that's a big change, and it's a good change.
Yeah.
And we knew it was just going to take a little time. You had a host of things on your shoulders.
Yes, I did.
That were like, oh my God, how are we going to address everything at once? Mm-hmm. And of course, the naysayers and all of our negative people want to say some things about, this ain't going to work and this ain't going to happen. And watching what the city's doing, and I'm not throwing rose petals at the city's feet by no stretch, but they do deserve a lot of accolades for what has gone on.
Thank you.
They've done some great things for a lot of people, and I think you being in the place and got comfortable with it, I think that's where it needs to be. So I just want to set the stage, and anybody's welcome to call in at any time. Jena said she'll take any phone call along with Greg. And that's 847-931-1410. But go ahead, Jena. Tell us what's been going on there, if you would, please.
Okay. Also, for listeners that might have tuned in the last time we were on, we talked about the initial first few weeks of the program. And, it was a lot of people coming together and a lot of moving parts. And it just took a couple of weeks, I'd say. And then
Took a minute to hit our stride, yeah.
Yeah, but that's expected. And we didn't have enough time to plan to create an absolutely perfect, flawless execution. I don't know if anybody can do that.
No, I don't think that exists.
But I think in a relatively short period of time, everyone settled in. They started to become much more comfortable. They were able to get pace passes so they could move around more. We had so much support from the community, so many people wanting to help, from haircuts, donations, people that Greg's connected with just coming up to him and saying, hey, I'd like to offer this particular service. So one of the non-designed benefits is that it also gives the community somewhere where they can say, all right, I know there's a certain amount of people that need this. It's a way of galvanizing and collecting the great community support that we have here.
Wonderful.
But we do have some success stories. We had one of our residents was accepted into the new development that AID put up. So that is very nice.
And we'll talk a little bit more detail about that.
I'm not going to get into too much more detail about that. I've got to stay away from client information.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, as far as what the program
sure.
consists of, we'll get into that. But I just wanted people to get a quick little introduction so they could remember, who Jena was. We all know who Jena Hencin is, and we all know, really, I think the good work you have been doing.
Thank you.
You've got kind of like a partner without a partner, and that's Greg.
Mm-hmm, I do.
And that Mr. Greg Schiller. Greg, how you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
And, couldn't be better. And what's your perspective on a lot of what's going on now?
I want to first start off by thanking the soup kitchen churches. First Congregational, the First United Methodist Church, the Zion Lutheran Church, the Trinity Lutheran Church. They gave us a head start by delivering all those meals that they were sending every night. Mm-hmm. And for me, I really appreciate it, because what it did was allow me time to get things together and get the pantry up and running for the people, which is now, it's going. nobody's hungry. Nobody's complaining about not having enough food. Everybody's eating. And I got to say thank you to the churches because that really helped a lot.
And if I could just jump onto what Greg is saying, I have to say thank you so much to former Elgin Township Supervisor Ken Bruderly.
Ken Brutally, yep.
He was phenomenal in
That man was a prince.
scheduling drivers to get those meals every day.
He even drove the truck himself a
Yes,
few
he did.
times. Isn't that
That's
amazing?
right, he
I
did.
saw him several times where he filled in when people couldn't make it, and he brought the meals up to the hotel.
Yeah, great respect for him. So
Yep.
if you're
Good.
hearing us, Ken, thank you.
Yep, thanks, Ken.
And you know what? You have Vern Tempe is a gentleman that's.
Have you reached out to him yet? I have not talked to him.
Yeah. Well, we could make it where, if it's okay,
Yeah,
I share your phone number. And those of you that would like to reach Jena directly, we have a phone number of 847-931-5609. 847-931-5609. At first I'm reading it, sounded like I was reading my own number because we're 931-1410. And anybody wanting to call in, please feel free to do so. This is an open forum. It's designed to be that way. But we just wanted to bring, again, an update and let people know what's happening. But you talk about Ken. Ken was a great guy. I hope Vern is going to do similar and continue the works that are going because it certainly helps the township.
Right.
And the township has been very, very instrumental in making this plan work.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
with the
like
city.
Jenna said, this is a great opportunity for anybody who wants to get involved to do it. There's many different ways that they can serve and help out.
And you're still taking volunteers, I take it,
Oh, yeah.
correct? Anybody that wants to give some help?
Oh, yeah. I've had a guy come in, wanted to give haircuts. We've done 2 haircut Sundays
Oh, that's neat.
with a gentleman, a man named Mauricio, and he's done a great job. He does men and women's hair, all types of hair,
Neat.
and guests are really happy with what he's done.
So they're getting a lot of services over at that facility.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a former colleague of mine. He's a Social Security disability lawyer, but he is also an executive director of a very large nonprofit that works within this sector, and he's willing to come out and talk to our clients and see if there's anything he can help with. You know,
that's
sometimes their paperwork gets a little screwed up. They're not getting their checks because maybe the address is wrong and the amount
Or
of
they
time
don't
it
even
takes.
know they have
Yeah.
benefits coming to them.
Right.
Or they
so
forgot to put the first 3 numbers of
Or
their
they
social
forgot-
security number on
yeah,
the paper.
or something like that.
And wonder why it's delayed, right?
There's all sorts of really great opportunities. And one that I would really like to bring up and mention, and I would love to take calls on, is Kane County has a fund. It's the Homeless Prevention Program. I believe it's funded through the remainder of the COVID money, the American Rescue Plan grant. What this allows is someone within Kane County, so this could be Aurora too, not just Elgin. If you are facing eviction, if you have an eviction notice about 2 weeks before you have to get out, this program will pay for the rearages on your rent. It can pay for past due utilities. It can pay for perhaps damages that you did to the apartment, let's say. And you can do a future security deposit to help you get housing if you do leave. The only requirements for the program are someone in your household must show risk of homelessness or housing instability, such as a past due rent, utility, or eviction notice, as I mentioned. Or someone in your household has to be qualified for unemployment and experienced a reduction in household income. So that's a pretty low bar. I think that
It's a very low bar.
I think a lot of people would meet that. And all you have to be as a Kane County resident, haven't had this money before, and you should be good. And they really want to spend it. So I encourage anyone that needs some help, if you're back behind on your rent, to please look into this program. And then maybe later on in the show, if we have time, I'd like to talk about some other subsidies.
Oh, absolutely
Some
we will.
how I'd like some
Sure.
landlords to help us.
Yeah, but this sounds like a great program. I know there's, I work for a law firm also. We do a lot of work and some work with the evictions. And there's the early resolution program in some cases it's called. And what that is, one, it lets the tenant know who's being actually evicted what their rights are, what they're able to do, what they can't do. And it also provides an application they would fill out. They may even fit the criteria and qualify for some funding from either like this here, county, state, and federal. So there's all types of resources out there that people can get assistance on. I mean, if they're a halfway decent tenant and they didn't cause a landlord a problem, who wouldn't accept it?
Absolutely.
You know it's secured money. You know the money's coming to you. Most of the time, this type of a program, they'll even give you an additional month, that ERP program. So that's actually, it's really a nice, there's a lot of nice stuff that's out there.
And there's multiple versions of these programs. So there could be one that fits your specific need. Like I said, there's also funding rapid rehousing to move you into an apartment, which we haven't gotten to. But for this, the homeless prevention, if you're interested, of course, you can go to the Kane County website. But the email address for the staff associated with this would be Kim Lovely, and that's LOVELYKIM. So Lovely Kim at co.kane.il.us.
And there's also that Brittany that's helping her on that. Is that
Yes.
true?
Brittany Garcia. Yeah.
So Brittany Garcia would be the same thing, except hers is Garcia Brittany, GarciaBrittny at KaneCountyIL.org.
Gov.
Gov. Why do I
That's
keep
the
doing
second
the
time
org?
today, Dean.
Yeah, I know. So, and if you want to reach Elgin, because I got that right in front of me, and I'm reading it off the paper.
Go.
I know. So you're so used to the org, and they went to Gov.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, elginil.gov, you would get most everything that we're talking about
Right.
today. And if not, you call Jena
Yeah,
direct
call
at
me.
847-931-5609. Hey, we do have a phone call. Do you mind ready for a call? Let them put their headphones on. Hello, you're listening to WRMN. Who's on the line with us?
Hi, my name is Andrew Berryman, and I'm calling you with the American Red Cross. How are you today?
Great, Andrew. How are you?
Hi, Andrew.
I'm terrific. Hello. I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a call because I understand that you guys are located in Elgin, and we have a drive coming up on Friday at the American Legion post in Elgin that we're critically short on donors.
And that would be
So
a blood drive, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, that would be for a blood drive. And anyone who comes out and donates, they get a $15 Amazon gift card and a chance to win $7,000, on top of the fact that their donation can save up to 3 lives, a life just like mine.
And they can win up to $7,000, huh?
They can win up to $7,000. In fact, there's going to be 2 winners across America of people who get $7,000 and a Visa prepaid gift card.
Someone's got to win. All right, we'll pass that word, Andrew. We appreciate you calling in.
Thanks, Andrew.
Good luck.
Hey, my pleasure. And would you like the hours of the drive?
Well, sure. It's at the American Legion, you said, right? But go ahead. Let me have
Yes. It's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And people can make appointments online, or I can email you guys a flyer with a QR code on it for signing up.
Yeah, why don't you do that? You go to the elginil.gov and look for Jena Hencin. And,
Or you can just do Jena.
okay, go ahead.
Hencin
Jena.Hencin,
at elginil.gov.
elginil.gov. Got that?
Beautiful. I'm getting this right on over to you. Thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all, Andrew. All good stuff. Thanks for calling.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
You do the same. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good call. So maybe one of the residents want to come by, donate some blood over at the Lexington.
That's what I was thinking.
Sure.
While he was talking, we can
Yeah.
talk to
That's
the residents, see if they
$15.
want to make
That's
a couple of bucks.
Oh, and I heard drive. I was like, ooh, what are you bringing us?
Yeah, that's kind of like where I thought he was going, but that's okay.
That's okay.
You gotta promote and support it. That lets you know people are listening. I love to know that. You got the Red Cross listening to us, right?
Hey,
So
you never know who's listening, right?
yeah, we're at WRMN 1410, everybody. 847-931-1410 if you'd like to contribute or ask a question of Jena or Greg. We're just going through a few of the updates and a lot of the forward progress that has been made with this the homeless situation. So if anybody has any questions or anything they want to say, Elgin's homeless response has always been the same. This is on the elginil.gov website, and it's real simple. The City of Elgin is committed to addressing homelessness through comprehensive action, compassionate support. The goal is ensuring every individual has access to safe, stable housing and the resources needed to thrive. Through partnerships with the community, organizations, human services, and volunteers, the city workers to both end and prevent homeless through targeted initiative. So, what do you think of that?
Yeah, sounds right.
So that's pretty much what it stands for. And here we have, that's Jena, and there's Greg. Her phone number on the bottom again, 847-931-5609. If you want the website, elginil.gov. But let's go back to what we were talking about, the different initiatives. And I know you've had a lot more. We could we'll wait for the second half because until the bottom of the hour, maybe we could talk a little bit some more about the different groups that have stepped up and started helping out over there.
Sure. Well, I think Greg is first on the list. I think we already know what Greg does, but Greg is very valuable because he is so connected to not only the clients, but all of the other organizations that have been helping for years and years and years. So he's well connected, and he is self-directing. I can say to Greg, here's a problem, here's what I need done, and he's got a whole plan, he's got everything organized, he's got the food pantry it looks great.
Yeah, he's done a great job on organizing.
Yeah, and he keeps
very
inventory, and I'll say to him, I need this for reporting, I need to know how many people got how much food. Got it all, Jenna, I even know what they got. And I'm like, I don't need to know that, but.
And when.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Greg is helping, yes. Then we also have our largest partner is the Association for Individual Development, AID.
Yeah, they've really stepped up to the plate.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I keep seeing new caseworkers.
Yeah, that's because of our program. They had to.
Yeah.
There was that Illinois unsheltered pilot program, so they were able to hire case managers, share in the cost of the rooms and all of that. So they are fully staffed now. I think I think he's almost out of training.
They're done bringing in people?
No, I think that's it. And the last gentleman that was hired, I think, is bilingual. And then we also have a community case manager who's bilingual. So we're making sure that we're knocking down as many barriers as possible, right? So
are you seeing a sense of, the different residents saying, hey, I was able to secure a job here, or hey, I'm putting it together, I think in time?
We had
How's that going?
one of our clients went to work, started the job last week.
Oh, nice.
And it was all high fives and, way to go. And, that's what it's all about.
Well, are they, again, anybody could secure a job, okay? We could all say, hey, I got the job. Keeping the job is
Keeping
important.
the jobs, that's the key.
But are they acknowledging, and from our conversations, you and I, Greg, because we talk pretty regular, are they still acknowledging that it's because they're going through the social services to kind of understand that maybe their way of thinking wasn't 100% to what other people are thinking, and that this is helping them?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
The people that are at that
don't want
point,
this to sound bad.
I think they're grateful for everything that all the different people that are involved in this are doing for them. I get thank yous all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely great.
Daily, almost people come into the pantry just to get some food.
Yeah.
And they're just, thank you so much for everything that you people are doing.
I mean, the times I come by there, and I'm always seeing you, even when the hours are closed and someone comes in, they really need. I've watched you open the door and help them out. Maybe I'm not supposed to say that,
Oh,
but it's
Don't
It's
let that
okay.
get out, man.
But I mean, here you are.
Thing
you're
people
already
are going to
putting in
be
the time.
calling me in the middle of the night. Hey,
Greg's
man, I need a
I'm
can
missing
of
a
soup.
box of mac and cheese. What happened here?
Where's my can of soup?
And I can't imagine if you got the call that you would not go there.
I would.
I know you would. So I just think it's great that you're doing all of that stuff, and you both working together. It's got to take a huge amount off of you.
Yeah.
And to have a partner like Greg, I mean, he's a good guy. When I worked with him with the Rotary Club, and even Food for Greater Elgin, they're still
bringing us food. Yeah, we're getting a lot of the food that we serve is coming from Food for Greater Elgin.
And there's a concern that hasn't happened just yet, but with all this, cutting off that, throughout the government right now.
Oh, yeah.
The federal government, they're not really sure, is the nicest way I could say it, what direction they want to take.
Well, there was a 30% reduction in it's federal pass-through funding for homelessness. It's called Emergency Solutions Grant, and it's one of the few grants out there that will pay for emergency shelters. Most of the grants don't do that anymore. So
But you're saying there was a 30%?
there was at least here in
there?
Kane, yeah.
Wow.
I'm assuming it was across the board, but
Yeah, that
it's
was trickle down.
Yeah, that was a significant cut for our agencies.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30% is huge.
Time to get creative.
Yeah, well, you still have, now, you had mentioned the churches in the beginning bringing the meals and supporting that way. Are they still doing that?
That stopped. Their agreement with the city was to provide meals through into May, and that the end of that agreement happened. Was it last week, 2 weeks ago? Whatever it was.
Yeah, right at the end of May.
And now we're on our own.
Okay.
Without their help, but we're getting food from lots of different places, and that's one of the ways that the community can get involved. We're taking food donations.
And what we're going to do is I got a quick phone call, and then we come back from the bottom of the hour, we'll talk about that piece.
Okay, very
How does
good.
that sound?
Very good.
Hey, you're on the air, WRMN.
Hey, what's going on, Dino, downtown Jose? Hello, Greg and Jena.
Hey, Jose.
Just want to say you guys are doing a great job. A lot of people are appreciative, and much blessings to the show, and a lot of people being helped. And sometimes I go down there and get some dinner, and the churches, they do it with love, So
They do.
They do it with love, yeah. So I just want to say great show, and keep doing your thing, guys.
Hey,
Thank
thanks
you.
a lot,
Thanks, Jose.
Appreciate it.
All right, God bless you guys. Be good.
God
All
bless.
right, be well. God bless.
Bye.
Yeah, downtown Jose. He's been involved in so many different things with programs that we've had
I've
here.
known Jose for a long time.
Yeah.
We've served together at the Vineyard
Great.
Church and in other various projects. He's a great guy.
He's had some challenges he goes
What?
through.
He's got a little
Oh, that's the poppies from the veterans.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got a flower in my hair.
Well, you've got one on your microphone.
Oh, I do. Oh,
See?
yeah.
There you are.
Well, I'm not going to steal from the radio station.
Well, we'll get you one. Don't worry
Unlike
about
my
it.
buddy here. No, another good thing that's coming out of this is, it's some of these softer wins. Some things just take longer, right? Like you're not going to be able to affect any kind of substantial change.
You know what that music is,
I
right?
know.
All right. You can tell the veterans. As soon as they hear the music, they get stopped like Bambi in the headlights. But we got
I
about
know what
30
that
seconds
means.
here. Listen, this is a great conversation. We're talking about the program that's going on for helping the homeless. The homeless response coordinator for the City of Elgin is here, and that's Jena Hencin. Jena Hencin's in the white. And Greg Schiller, that gentleman there, he is the liaison and working very closely to make sure that the pantry is kept up and that the Lexington Hotel, they have communication. So we're going to come back right after these messages. Don't change your dial. You listen to WRMN 1410 right here. Voice of the Valley, talking to town, talking about what's happening over at the Lexington Hotel. A lot of great improvements, folks. See you in a little bit.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Wendy's. Drivers in downtown St. Charles should prepare for lane closures and shifting traffic patterns on Main Street and Illinois Street as construction gets underway. The city is installing a new crosswalk at the north entrance to the First Street Plaza and updating the current traffic signal to reduce pedestrian wait times. Hanover Township launching a free summer concert.
Hey, we're back. WRMN. We're talking with our good friends from the City of Elgin, Jena Hencin and Greg Schiller. Everybody knows what Jenna's job over there is. She loves her job. She does the homeless response coordinator, and Greg Schiller is now the manager over at the pantry over at the Lexington Hotel, as well as the liaison between the two. So they got a good crew, Everybody is working together. Things are taking a good change, and we're happy about a lot of what's going on. So we've just asked Jena and Greg to come on and tell us some of the accomplishments and some of the achievements. We've already learned that AID, which is Association of Individual Development, has been there, and they've done an outstanding job with social services. They've been, doing their part, trying to get the folks, a little bit of counseling, maybe how to find different jobs. We've heard already that another one was just able to secure a job, and so that's great. So we have, are you calling them clients, residents?
Clients.
Clients,
Okay.
yeah.
So the clients are accepting the resources that have been provided for them, which is nice because, you could do a program like this, and the city has spent thousands of dollars to make this happen, along with other, Kane County has helped with different grants and what have you, I'm aware of. But still, there's coordination here. I mean, you've got just a lot that goes into this. But I just wanted to bring it up that it's nice to know that the clients are grasping what's given to them and are saying, you know what, let's change things around a little bit.
I think that one of the important factors that needs to be considered when you think about the homeless is living in Tent City was an everyday survival, right? So their plans were not much beyond that day or that week. It would be
Or
more
that hour.
It'd be difficult
depending.
to get mail. There are certain things that they had to abandon in order to have that life. And now, coming back to the motel, it's kind of starting to bring back up, and I don't want to use the wrong word, but a sense of agency and a sense of, like, I've got my own room. So some of the soft wins that we're seeing is everyone looks a lot healthier. I mean,
I
just
bet they do.
Yeah.
complexion-wise, their hair, their clothes are clean, like everything just looks better. Then a lot of people are taking care of old, petty legal problems.
Yep.
Warrants for failure to appear.
I had one talking about that with me today.
Yeah, all the time we hear it. So now they're going to the court and they're paying them or taking care of them or whatever. So it's not going to keep following them in their lives.
But you bring up an interesting point, just the basics.
Yeah.
Just the fact of the matter that they couldn't shower. I mean, they're fending for whatever they had to just to be fed, just to sustain. To Greg is saying, hour to hour, much less day to day.
They
or
didn't know
month to
when
month.
their next shower was coming.
Right.
They
You
didn't know when, they were going to be able to even get an aspirin for a headache.
Sure.
You know.
And these people have pride. These are not disposable people, and that's why
No.
I've always had a heart for the homeless my whole life. And we have to do what we can to support them. For whatever reason, any one of us could be losing a job away from being in the same situation.
Yeah, the majority of us, I think the statistic is 2 paychecks away from homelessness.
There you are.
If a major thing happened in our lives where we lost, a job, had a medical emergency, whatever, to lose 2 paychecks and you're out in the street.
Yeah, you're in the way interest rates are and everything else.
Yeah, fair market
Forget
rent.
it.
A one-bedroom apartment, $1,700 a month.
Can you believe it?
That's ridiculous.
I mean,
my first apartment when I was 18 years old
God.
was $220 a month.
Yeah.
And that was in the city of Chicago, where it cost a fortune to live to begin with.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember mine in the suburbs. First one was $185, 2-bedroom apartment on the second floor. Beautiful place. But what are you going to do? Things change.
Yeah.
Things go
Yeah,
on.
they
I
do.
get it. We have to change. We have a phone call. Hold on. Go ahead. You're on the air, WRMN.
Hi, I just have a couple questions. The last time I heard, you had that you could rent the Lexington up until September, and then I have other people from the other camps kind of come to see what's there and have joined there. I'll take the questions off the air. Thank you.
She does it. She just wants to ask the question, and then you
And
can
just
answer.
let me talk about
Yeah,
it.
that's all.
She'll listen.
Oh, no, that's great because it is a great
She doesn't
topic.
like to be talking at
Oh,
her.
no, and it is something, a good point of clarification for the public. When we reacted to those fires, this was an emergency.
Yes, it was.
And we were tasked with keeping the people who lived in that very dangerous area safe. So it was an emergency evacuation and relocation into temporary shelter. So this was never meant to be we're creating a homeless shelter. And poof, everyone, I know we didn't ask permission, but here you go. This was 3 fires in a row, and we had to protect them. So we have housed everyone that lived in that main tent city. At the time of planning, there were multiple tent cities. Right now, I think we're down to maybe 2.
Yeah, there's 2 other camps existing right now.
Yep, 2 other camps. I work very closely with the rope officers and some of the leadership at EPD, and we have clients that will call 311, or I'm sorry, residents that will call 311, or I'll hear a message, we'll go out and investigate, and we get those camps cleaned out within a week. But the remaining people that live outside, we are targeting them, and we are planning for them. You know, it's just a matter of making sure we do this at a good pace and, you know, don't get ourselves into a situation where we can't afford it.
And our caseworkers have to be able to keep up with them, too.
Right,
so.
right.
No, that's it's all part of it. I mean, really what it is.
And another great thing that you know, I would be remiss to not mention is a lot of the clients that we serve, they did work with case managers, and they maybe were in the database, not as many of them, but some of them were. Now, because of all the reporting requirements and, you know, this higher kind of oversight of, we're asking for donations from multiple different funding partners, we have to keep much stricter track of everything, right?
Well,
and
it's again, it's back to the thing. You're giving them, instead of the handout, it's the hand up. You're offering them resources that they would never have if they didn't go into this program. You know, and you have to really acknowledge the mayor of the city, the city manager, and the council people for even addressing this, putting this together. They've gotten a lot of criticism and they've gotten a lot of praise. At the same time, I know a lot of people were so against us. That what are you helping these people for? And how come you're doing this? And you're putting them in a school and near a school, and you're putting them in this. You know what? You're judging these folks before you even give them a chance.
right.
And I think things have gone in a much better direction from what I've seen. I know they've been able to go to a security company. What do you got, Andy Frayne or something
Andy
like
Frayne
that?
is handling security.
Okay.
It's a company. I used to work for the company.
Before we get on security, the point I wanted to make was that the clients hadn't had these very long and thorough housing placement assessments done. They have to be done every year. And if it lapses, then you fall off the waiting list. So now all of our Lexington clients, they all got put on 2 different lists. There's the Kane County COC list, and then there's the statewide referral network. We've already had 5. That's 10% of our clients have already been pulled up on those wait lists.
Isn't that great?
Because they are chronically homeless, which means the amount of barriers to self-sufficiency that they face are great. And they've been homeless for a certain length of time, a year or more. And the more problems that they face, the higher the score, the more immediate their housing. So because our clients were the hardest, not the hardest to serve,
Yeah, we started with probably the most difficult group of people to place in the city of Elgin. You know, we have several homeless that are still waiting for help, but this group,
Well, sure, you had an
these were-
established camp for
yeah,
Exactly.
30 years that camp was there.
Right.
Some of these people
That's
that we
hard.
scooped out of there were there 20 years.
yeah, and you weren't telling them to change anything.
Yeah, how are you gonna, how do you
nobody
tell
really
somebody
was.
that's
Nobody
lived a
was
certain way
forcing.
for
Right.
20 years to say, okay, now you're gonna live this way and you're gonna comply and you're gonna do all these things and we don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the way it works.
No, I think it's great. And, you know, and I believe you mentioned, too, that the city is willing to work with different landlords who wanted to provide affordable housing.
Yes, we had a
So-
landlord fair about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
We had a very good turnout, I would say.
You know, when you get those in the future, let us know. We'd be happy to
I will.
broadcast.
That is an oversight on my part.
That's
and
okay.
I apologize. But we had over 70 people came to listen to Nizreen. She's the head of the COC over in Kane County. Lori Baker, the executive director of AID, was there. A person with lived experience. I was there. Karina was there. Some other people were there. But we just talked about the different subsidies that are available. And if there's a landlord that has a unit and they're willing to work with us, if you engage with one of our partners like AID or PADS or Community Crisis Center, they have something called rapid rehousing, where they'll pay the security deposit, they'll pay the first month's rent, last month's rent, whatever that amount that you're asking for up front, they can pay double security deposit. They have a damage fund. Your rent would be on time every month because it's coming from the organization. You would have support. You would have someone to call. I mean, most tenants, if you have a problem with your tenant, like their dog's barking too loud or something like that,
Right.
you only have the tenant to go to. If you work with us, you can call the organization and then you'll get a hold of them. You can call me. So there's a lot of people that really would be there to support.
Talking of the barking dog, right? I mean it in a good way.
No, I know.
No, you got a good bark to you. You got a nice bite as well.
Yeah.
Because you get things done. It's one thing to bark and moan and groan, and like we've said, with all these different programs and all these people are going to help. But I've watched you. I've watched Greg. I know when you say something now, it's getting done. Especially, again, I've worked with Greg a little longer. No disrespect to you. But Greg said, "Hey, we're going to get this. We'll get this." Okay, fine, do it. And we tried to support best we could. We had, a lot of different people get behind us and make this happen.
WRMN has been a huge, huge blessing to this whole program. Because all the help that you've given us by broadcasting the needs on the air and going behind the scenes and talking to other organizations on our behalf and helping get resources to us. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. I didn't say what I said, so you'd say that, but Dennis and I made the commitment.
I'm not saying it because you said it. I'm saying it because it's
thank
true.
you. I appreciate that.
You guys have done a lot for us. And
Dennis and
we
I made the
appreciate it.
commitment to be community broadcasters and to let everybody know with not only just Elgin, but the Fox River Valley, in particular Elgin. This is our home.
Well, yeah,
this
it's
is
the
where we
hometown,
are,
right?
and they're the main hub. Let's just face it. Elgin is the main hub to all the cities around. It's not like they're the boss. They're just a little bit larger.
Yep.
So they've got programs and efforts and things that are going on. So we're glad to be a part of it. And always have a spot here anytime you want to come on.
If you'll remember, I sat here with Chief Lally,
Yep.
where Jena's sitting, and we talked about this, as it was just unfolding, and just before we even moved the people out. And, I said then, this is not the perfect, answer to this.
And it's not the end all.
It's not the perfect solution,
No.
but it's what we have.
That's right.
So we're going to make it work, and that's what we're doing. We're taking what we have, and we're doing the absolute best we can with it, and it's working.
And I think
We're
that-
seeing it. It's working.
I
And
think
it's people caring about others too. But
Yeah,
go ahead,
and
Jenna.
I think it's very logical for us all to say there's poverty out there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like things are getting any easier for
Yeah,
people.
watch the TV, listen to the radio. It is not getting any easier out there. And again, whatever your politics is, it is. Some could say, well, it's going to get better. It's got to take its course. Or some are saying, that's nice. I like the future's going to get better. I need something now. A lot of people are saying that. Okay, I get we're changing this, and I get this is going to happen, but we need some immediate relief. And I think that's what's happening. And here's what the city has done is given immediate relief. Number one, giving them a place, a warm place to be in the summer. And now they got air conditioner in those places too. So it's not like they don't have air conditioner.
They've got all the amenities.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not a country club. No one's trying to paint that picture, but it is basic provisions. They're being fed. That you've got hygiene products. You're talking about how the folks are looking. The last time I was there, the same thing. You're viewing a transformation of good because of what a lot of people have done, and I think that's great. I really do.
Yeah. And people who have experienced probably what would be considered the worst time in their lives
Oh my
are
God!
the ones that are the
Could
most
you imagine?
deserving of
Sure,
kindness.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got to be. How tough can it be?
And everyone that works with us, all of us, we are mindful of trauma-informed care, and we're respectful. We don't encroach. We don't, violate their privacy. We let them make their own decisions because they are, at the end, just people. They're just poor people.
We do our best to meet them where they're at,
Yeah.
and deal with things as they come and help them in the ways that we're able.
And the little things make the biggest difference.
Sometimes, yeah,
Right?
it's
You know what I'm saying?
not the big stuff. It's Hannah. I'll
It's
tell you
having
what.
people respect you and treat you with dignity. Yeah. I mean, I had another one. I had a couple of clients, they're reconnecting with their children. and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
their families.
because they have a little more
I've,
stability.
I've seen the kids at the hotel. They're getting visits at the hotel with their children.
That's
Yeah.
something that never would have occurred. had we
sure.
not
Nope.
done this.
Well,
Not if they were still in Tent City.
And the clients, whether it was they were embarrassed, whether it was they've been pushed out or outcast because of their situation, and because they were viewed as, well, you're not doing nothing to help yourself. Sometimes it's not about not being able to help
Exactly.
yourself. It's the circumstances, and they didn't have the tools to be able to help themselves. You're giving them, you're giving the carpenter the hammer and nails.
Let me ask you this.
Go
Okay?
ahead.
How heartwarming is it? Okay, you've been in the pantry with me. Okay, you're there. You're handing out meals, and you're walking through the pantry, shopping with folks and helping them out, and someone comes through for dinner with their kids, and you get to serve the family.
Nice.
I mean, where before they were completely estranged.
You know what it is? It's a Thanksgiving's dinner. It doesn't have to be
Every day.
in November, but it's a Thanksgiving dinner. The fact that you could bring that family together and receive something given from people, give from a warm hand.
Seeing that and being able to be a part of that.
Yeah,
is-
that's
I
got to
mean,
make you feel great, Greg.
That's
And Jena, I mean,
it does.
you're the support, and I say that
that
too.
is what it's all about.
I say that
is
to
those moments.
to the mayor, to the city manager, and to all the council people that got this into the direction that it is. This is not make-up time with the city. Oh, I want them to, hear us saying nice things. These are nice things to be said because these are facts. They are setting a program.
This is the
that
product
could be,
of what we're doing.
this could be a startup program that others may be able to look at and say, hey, you know what?
Yes.
Yes, that
we could do
actually
something
is.
like this.
Yeah, that funding that the AID got from the state a few months ago, it was an unsheltered pilot program to test out how we're running this.
And the City of Elgin didn't go into it for that. They did it because they said,
Because
let's help.
they had
it didn't
to.
exist.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It was something that was necessary and
right.
needed to be done.
The necessity brought everybody there.
And
But yeah.
also, the City of Elgin is going to be receiving an award or recognition award for outstanding public service from
Beautiful.
the state Office of Homelessness.
That's great.
So, home
Well
summit
deserved.
next
You
week.
folks should be up there standing there with them for sure. Absolutely well deserved. Like I was saying, little things. Remember when Rotary Club, Mike Warren, myself, I'm a Rotarian, I guess, and then Andres.
Is that what you call it?
I guess that's what it is.
You're a Rotarian.
He's my brother, Rotary guy. That's all. Everyone's my brother, the way I look at it. The folks in the Lexington,
Dino,
they're all
the
my brothers and
Rotarian.
sisters. Yeah, the Rotarian. Yes, that's me. But they needed that cooler for those meals. Those what do they call those meals?
The factor meals.
Factor meals. And what a balanced. I did more research on those factor meals. There's more nutrition in those factor meals. If you just ate factor meals,
You'd be fine.
you'd be
Yeah,
100%
they're
fine.
designer meals.
They are.
Yeah.
They're
actually really good.
they really are.
They're expensive.
I sampled the one over by
I
I
Greater.
did too.
I
tried.
try everything that I serve to the people because I want to know what they're eating.
Yeah.
And I can't complain about the factors. They're actually kind of gourmet-like.
I think they are. I think they're
they're-
meant to be like
they're
that
very good.
chef-inspired, nutritious
I think they are that.
ingredients. Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw them on TV. Oh God, a couple months ago, prior to this action.
Yeah, you can get them
Remember?
online. You can
Yeah,
buy them.
You could buy the
Oh
factor
yeah, it's a
meals,
subscription
right?
service, I think.
So it's like they got everything there. You got Italian dishes, Hispanic. You got every.
Yeah, they've got all types of
every
meals,
type of
different
food.
grades.
Yeah.
Different at different price points and stuff. But yeah, it's all nutritionally balanced, dietitian approved. Good
Which lets
stuff.
me go to one thing I wanted to bring up.
Uh-oh.
I know that the soup kitchens are kind of like, all the churches you mentioned. They've been gracious. They've been sending an additional, like 15.
15 meals a night is what they
Okay.
were doing from January to May.
All right, and that's a lot.
That is a lot.
And it's a lot for them to do. And it's not even that they don't have the food to supply. Sometimes it's the people power. Sometimes it's coordinating it, getting it all packaged.
Well, it takes a lot. You got to have the all these soup kitchens are staffed
Every
by
one of them are
volunteers.
volunteers.
They're all volunteers from the churches. They have to do the extra work to box up the meals and everything, get them ready to be sent out. Then you got to have somebody to drive them from the soup kitchen itself, from the church that's hosting that night, up to the Lexington. It's a lot of work. It's a lot to ask, and they did their part. The township did their part by providing the drivers and they gave us the time we needed to get the
Yes.
pantry up and running.
Right, and they fulfilled their obligation.
Yeah, they did.
They served us wonderfully, and we thank them.
They kept
But
their
now,
word.
you know,
All of the churches
Yeah.
involved kept their word, and
So-
we made it to this point
And we got
because of
through it.
them.
Absolutely. So here's why I want to bring up this part. And this goes not only to the restaurant owners, whether it's fast food, whether it's sit down, and there's not a lot of your mom and pop sit down restaurants. A lot of them close at 3 o'clock now, if you noticed. But this goes for any restaurant that, number one, does have specials, soups and what have you, that at the end of the day, they're going to either have to throw it out or do something with it, try to repurpose it. So I tell you what, I'll give the challenge. If we can get any one of these groups to come up with 10 to 15 meals, me and my partner Dennis will give them advertisement right here on the radio station, which is our nice package. We'll give them the 4 commercials a day, prime time. They can come in and talk about their business. They can come right here. I'll even pick them up in our limousine. We have a limousine.
Yeah, and if
So
any of
we'll pick
the
them up.
owners and managers want to come in and serve with us,
If you
and
know-
hand
exactly.
out the meals, meet the people.
Happy to
you
do
know,
it. Promote who you are, and we'll promote the heck out of them on our radio station.
We'd love to have them at the Lexington.
Our website, we'll make sure that the city puts some acknowledgement for them. I'm sure Jenna,
I can take
Greg,
care of that.
we can get working on something like that. But I'm telling you, if anybody knows, I remember Brown's Chicken at the end of the day, and then they started doing day-old cold chicken or what have you. But they would call us up at the fire department. I was on the fire department at the time. They never gave it to the police, but just the fire. But that's okay. They didn't like the police. Even back then, can you imagine that? But nonetheless,
Well, that's because you guys get calendars.
is that what it is? That's what it was. Okay.
Calendars.
So what we did was we would get that chicken, and then we'd have it on shift for the different shifts in that, which was nice. It was a nice little because back then you didn't make the amount of money they are today. But my point is, if it's a Taco Bell, if it's you name it, if it's a burger place and they make the burgers in advance and they have extra left over, if any of you folks that are listening work at any of these places and you know where you're working, you're in the food service industry, hotels, if you're working in a hotel, if they have banquets, at the end of a banquet and you have
catered
something,
meals.
catered
Yep.
meals,
Anything
and
left
you
over,
have
we'll
something
take it.
left over, they're willing to take it. We'll get the transportation for it. Please give a call. You can call Jena direct at 847-931-5609. Call us right on the air, 847-931-1410, and we will take that call, and we would be happy to do whatever
Or they
it
can
would
call me
take
at the hotel.
And call Greg right at the hotel.
And I'm aware of food sanitation, and Greg is too.
I run a clean pantry.
Well, listen, I want to thank you both. This is a great show.
Thank you.
And I hope
Thank
that
you, Dino.
someone will take us up on that offer, because we do. We have a lot of needs still out there. We thank all the local churches for doing everything they have. We can't thank the mayor, city manager, and the council members for all they do, in particular Jena Hencin and Greg Schiller for all that you have done to make this the program that it is. And even the folks over there at the Lexington, to open their doors and say, okay, let's make a deal. A lot of people here have a lot going on. Thank you both very much for being here. You've been listening to WRMN 1410, a little special segment on the Out to Lunch.
Bye, everybody.
We got Tammy and friends coming up next. You won't want to miss that. And then
Hey,
after
Tammy,
that,
where'd she go?
she's getting her stuff in. And then after that, we have a political talk show.